What's up, everybody?
I was waiting, and then I'm like, the whistle can't wait any longer.
I know, the whistle. The whistle is the best part. Welcome, everybody, to episode 129 of Crossing the Streams, where we answer the universal question, what should I binge watch next? We just watched something, now I gotta watch something else. Well, you've come to the right place. We've got 128 hours of binge watching suggestions on our YouTube channel. And here we are about to add another to the pile. We got a great guest today. Fred Carroll has returned to the show. How are you, sir?
Great. What's up, everyone?
Before we catch up, let's sing this theme song. Do you remember the theme song? Kick us off, Fred.
Here's the story of some lonely fellows who spend way too much time watching the TV. All of them have jobs and friends. Well, not really. Just between you and me.
Marcy.
They made a live show out of their hobby. Every TV watcher's TV watching dream. Jeff, Ron, Sal, and Bob. And there's Marcy. They call it Crossing Streams.
Ron.
And then one day they went, wait, you got to move the theme song.
Yeah, sorry. You should know it, but you should know it.
I do know it. All the platforms. You can hear the people laughing, shout, and scream. Still can't find another word that rhymes with platform, but man, we cross the streams. Here we go.
We cross the streams. We cross the streams. As a way.
Here we cross the streams.
Hey, what's up?
Yay.
Let's see. Actually, hey, Fred. So Fred Carroll's back. He's got a new podcast. Tell us about your new podcast.
My new podcast is A Dude in the Hen House, which is going a little off. It's doing well. It's only 6 episodes in. It's brand new. And the theory of it is me, one man, the dude, with 2 or more female guest hosts interviewing women and talking about women. So it's truly a dude in the hen house. I am stuck between women where the motto is you can't be me too'd if you can't get a word in. That's
interesting.
My motto.
Fred, I'm glad you're on today's show, given
That's awesome.
the content.
I can't wait to be on your show.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be great. It's not going as planned because of the strikes. And I'm sure you're being affected by this, Jeff, to a point on your show. I know you have a backlog more than I do. But with somebody starting a new podcast, it's difficult to get the guests that we're used to getting them, especially from the movie industry. Even
True.
They
can't. Writers maybe now can because they're on.
But they're busy.
On strike.
They've been out of work for 3 months. They're too busy to come on your show.
Now they're suddenly working. But yeah, the actors can't talk about anything, basically.
Right. And good for Drew Barrymore's writers for refusing to go back to work. Good for them.
Oh, hadn't heard that.
Yeah, all 3 of them denied their contract and took other jobs.
Interesting.
The writer's strike's still going because Bill Maher was on.
No, the writer's strike.
No, it ended.
Last
week.
But
the actor's strike is still on, though, right?
Drew Barrymore had to cross the picket lines and do her show. Yeah. And while her writers were striking, and now that they are off strike, she invited them back, and they declined.
Got it.
Good for them.
Interesting. Really? So wait, I'm sorry. Did I hear that right? The actors are still on strike, right?
Yes, the actors are
in their third night. They're in their third night of negotiating tonight, so they're getting closer. The writer's strike actually had to get done first, so they could get all that AI stuff out of the way, and then now it's the movie one, the AI.
Yeah, I heard on my favorite podcast, my favorite news podcast, The Daily, that they phrased it as a complete capitulation from the studios to the writers. So I'm not sure if people in the know agree with that, but that's what they're saying on The Daily.
The writers did well. I didn't read the whole thing. It's 195 pages long, but it's. I still get the email. I'm not in the WGA anymore, but when I was, you would be on the email on the East Coast one, WGE, and I still get the emails. So I read them. But
Interesting.
they did very well. They did very well in reruns, and that was one of the most important things is getting that 3% bump in finances.
Yep.
So the other thing that kind of came out, it had come out, and then somebody started slamming them even harder, which is Disney. So Disney has this kind of crazy thing they do with their contracts to get out of paying people a lot of money, where in their contracts, the fourth season is supposed to be an increase. I think it's 80%, and then I don't know the numbers, but the fourth season is when everyone gets a bump. So this is why, if you think back to all your favorite Disney shows, the fourth season was always called something else.
A reboot,
They rebooted the show and then set it back to season 1, thus always avoiding the fourth season. That's why you got Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, or the whatever.
Right. Well, I'm hoping the agents are onto them, so that they can consult their clients well.
That's what they just did with the new Daredevil series as well. It's called Daredevil Reborn or something like that. So it's not.
It's dangerous wording because all they want to do is work. These people want to work. You got to remember, 95% of these writers are living off of $20,000 to $30,000 a year. And that's the same in acting. Most of the actors are not making a living. They're people like you and me who do it on weekends because we love acting, not because we're going to be famous. And they want to take that away. They want to take the AI version and be able to use you instead of using you, Ron, for 3 weeks as a background guy. They want to take you and use you for 1 day and just AI create you for the next 2.5 weeks without paying you. And then own your likeness, and it's not fair.
I've heard that. I also heard what was Tom Hanks barking about this week about?
Well, Tom Hanks, but then I actually saw the Mr. Beast one where there was a deep fake ad with him
on TikTok.
You could kind of tell it was AI, but I also didn't think it was so crazy that Mr. Beast wouldn't be giving away iPods or iPhones for $2.
Right.
So it's like, I mean, he gave everyone sight somewhere once. So I mean, it's like a $2 iPhone doesn't seem that crazy in comparison.
One of the biggest voices is going to be Robin Williams' daughter. Is a big voice in this right now because she is truly against them using her father's voice for further characters. She thinks other actors are very alive and well and able to work and do these voices. She does not want to hear her father's voice done that way. And that should change a few things, hopefully.
I think originally he had in his contract they couldn't anyway. But
you know how once you are passed on, everything changes. The contract could have been a living contract. Who knows what the wording is? But
if you look at some of my podcast releases, you'll see I had to say recorded prior to strike because that way.
Oh, right.
So you'll see that on other podcasts as well.
Got it. Oh, that's
and then there's some podcasts that had to stop. Like there was a couple of Full House reboots that started like the day of the strike. They had one episode out, and then they kind of had to shut it down because you can't talk about and promote Full House. So like I had somebody come on, Lee Purcell, and she talked about this Hollywood radio players thing, but she was allowed to talk about it. They gave her permission, but that's all we could talk about. And I told her, I said, "Oh, it's killing me. I so wanted to talk about the return of the Incredible Hulk." she was Bill Bixby's kind of girlfriend wife in that.
It should change soon, though. We should see a turnaround very soon.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yes. So, well, all right. Well, let's see what else. So a couple seasons ended yesterday. The third season of Only Murders in the Building, which I believe did get renewed for season 4. I thought I saw that. And also Ahsoka ended yesterday. Did any of you guys watch either of those? Or
No.
I tried going back to Murders in the Building.
Yeah, it's not for me.
Hard for me.
All right. Well, I find it to be delightful. I'm not.
Wait. Hold on. Go back. What was the second one, Jeff?
Ahsoka, the new Star Wars live action.
I
talked about that. I mean, I gotta say, I thought up to a point. It's really based on like a lot of, not based on, but it's a kind of a sequel to the cartoons, the animated series, Rebels and Clone Wars, and up to a point, I was like kind of holding strong, like, okay, I may not know everything. There may be layers I'm missing, but it's okay. I can still enjoy it on a particular level. I see people like saying they were crying and about this finale, and I was just like, I thought the finale, there was a couple good lightsaber, there was a couple good things. So I'm not saying it was complete, but it ended so docile. And then, they did something where it was just like, it becomes fan service at that point, because it's just like, oh, they did that. Oh, it broke my heart. And it's like, why? They just threw it in. Had nothing to do with anything.
I would watch the videos of people crying watching the show before I watched the show.
A lot of it was cool. I love Rosario Dawson, and she seems to be in everything. So every geek thing there is. She was in every
Clerks,
Clerks, and every superhero Netflix show there was. She was like the thread between all those shows. But anywho, all right, let's chat. I guess maybe I just got my dates wrong with Scott Curtis, so we'll have him back another day. Sal couldn't come last minute, but we're good. Hey Lee, what's up? How are you?
Hi Lee, how are you?
Lee.
All right, so let's see what we got here today. We got last week we had a big show. I wanted to say I saw No Hard Feelings. So we talked about No Hard Feelings, the Speed Cubers, Fleabag, Heels, and At Home with the Furies, which is a lot of people wrote in and thought that was At Home with the Furries. They ended up watching that, which is a completely different.
That's a different movie.
Completely different documentary, which we're going to cover next week. And then this week we're going to talk about the morning show, Reptile, and then our Broadway reporter, Marcy, is also going to talk to us about Funny Girl, which she just saw recently without air conditioning. So we're very, very excited. There you go.
Without air conditioning. Okay, I'll have to hear about that.
All right, let's talk about the morning show. Now, this is like, it's more of a, there's season 3 is going on right now, but this is more of a season 1. Ron is just
and I'm not positive if anyone's even reviewed that. I know we've talked about the morning show, but I don't know that it's actually been officially reviewed on Crossing
Maybe not. Well, let's consider this the official review.
I'm going to tackle it right now. It's a funny thing because it's like with so many streaming services, so many options these days, there's always some good shows that end up falling through the cracks. And this is one of them for me. Like, and here's how little I knew about this show. I assumed it was a comedy. It's Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon. I had no idea what the show was about. My wife and I were on the couch this past Sunday, and we were like, well, let's start a new series. We finished Fleabag. We had finished up a couple other things that we had done and watched a couple movies, and we were like, let's start a series. What series should we look at? And I'm like, well, let's. I haven't looked at anything on Apple TV Plus in a while. What's there? And sure enough, I was like, we've never seen the morning show. Let's go check it out. Reese Witherspoon, Jennifer Aniston, Billy Crudup. And it's got some great reviews. People seem to be talking about it. Season 3 has just started. People seem, enthusiastic about the show. Let's check it out. So we did. And I will tell you, first off, holy drama, holy Me Too movement, Fred, with 2 Ds. That was like a punch in the face. Like I was like, okay, that's what this show is about. I had no idea. I also, without getting into any details, I will just say this, that one of my major clients was one of the major companies in the news about the Me Too movement and had to be what was impacted by their behavior over these many generations by Me Too. So the morning show had it really resonated with me. And so I just have to say, Jennifer Aniston is fabulous. She's just fabulous. She has so much range. And I was really pleased to see her try and tackle this. I've always thought Reese Witherspoon was talented. I dare say I think Reese Witherspoon's the more talented of the two. But I give Jennifer Aniston a ton of credit for attempting this. The show is, I would say, decently reviewed. First season's at a 62% for Rotten Tomatoes, 61 on Metacritic. It stayed in the 60s for all the second season on both Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, and then got a bump in season 3 at 72% for Rotten Tomatoes. I have not seen season 2 or season 3 yet.
Okay.
We're just finishing season 1 right now, so I'm about to make the jump. It's funny because Jeff, you warned me about season 2, and actually once you told me about that, a couple of folks said, season 2 is not so great. But when you delve into the actual data on Morning Show, actually season 2 did pretty well and got reviewed pretty decently, better actually than season 1. So I'm interested in that. I don't know why that is.
So let's
I would
talk
say
about
that-
it. I'm taking Marcy's side too.
I would say
I watched
let's
it.
not give Jennifer too much credit. She's making $1 million an episode and $1 million more on the back end of every episode.
Well, so here's a couple interesting things. First off, this was pitched by Jennifer Aniston's production company to Apple back in 2017, and they didn't just buy it, Freddie, but they bought 2 full seasons of 10 episodes per season. And I don't, listen, I'm not a TV guy, but is that normal to buy 2 seasons of?
It is for Apple.
I guess it is. I guess it is. I was interested in that because usually I always figure they run a half a season or buy 4 episodes or something like that, kind of see how it does and then go from there. But not this one. They seem pretty convinced or financially convinced, one or the other.
Well, I think if you put the people in that they were able to wrangle into that, you got to have some faith in it when you got those 2 women running the production, running the program, and Matt Lauer basically wrote the script.
I would say that's very true. Now, I just want to say, speaking of Matt Lauer, let's just talk about Steve Carell for just a moment because first off, that is an incredibly difficult role that he took on for the morning show. And, when you see a guy like Steve Carell in The Office and 40-Year-Old Virgin and things like this, you would be wrong to think that he's in a single channel of talent. And he just isn't. He is a super talented guy. He's proved it now over and over in dramatic shows. I loved him in The Big Short.
I just saw that this weekend. I've been dying to tell you.
Oh man, The Big Short's just it's one of my favorite movies of all time.
It's a great movie.
And Steve Carell, I dare say this might be his most difficult role ever, and I think he just absolutely kills it. And I think he understands the spirit of people that I think were in the inner circle of what caused the Me Too movement. And I think he plays that out really, really well. And I think people, whether you like him or not as a character, you find yourself nodding to how he's behaving on the show. And I think he portrays this Matt Lauer style character, I think, really, really well. The ultimate narcissist and ultimate self-serving bastard, but also smart and savvy and an experienced TV guy. And, as I've done some research about the morning show, a lot of folks, I read a news thing from Savannah Guthrie that talked about, that she found the show, she called it interesting. She didn't call it accurate, but she did say it was interesting. It was that whoever produced the show did have a rudimentary understanding of morning show production, that they did seem to understand some of the themes of what it's like to run a morning show. But I also get the sense that there's a lot they didn't understand. And when you look at what the critics say about this show, they really say that it goes for too much. It tries too hard to be kind of to be a beacon of morality for the world. And the truth of the matter is that the actors are overstretched and just trying too hard for what it is they're trying to communicate on this show. I do want to mention Billy Crudup because I absolutely, I hope this doesn't sound funny, but I fell in love with Billy Crudup in Almost Famous. I think that
give him credit. He is the best actor on that show.
Well, would it surprise you to know, Marcy, that this show has been nominated for awards up and down the TV spectrum, and Billy Crudup is the only person who's won
He's the only one who's won. Okay.
He's the only one who's won any of the major awards. He won the Primetime Emmy for Outstanding Supporting Actor in a Drama Series.
He's
they've all been nominated. They've all been nominated.
He plays his role great. I love him.
He does. And you know how when to play a dark character like his character on the morning show, they're doing it well. When you find yourself saying to your wife, "That bastard, don't trust him. He's that bastard's going to get you again." It's like you there's so much hate and anger towards this guy, and he does it so well and seemingly effortlessly. And I just love the way the casting on the show has been fantastic. And I think I would dare say, in my opinion, Billy Crudup, I think was the strongest of all the choices they made. So
can we all agree though, especially Marcy, how great it was to see the Green sisters back together again.
The Green sisters?
Yeah, Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right. Rachel Green, yes, it's her sister from Friends.
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't get that right away.
I was wondering how did you not get that?
I also think it's Rachel Green.
I would also love to know, because there's a number of side characters from The Office, the American version of The Office, that are on the show as well. And that's interesting to me. So that must have meant that if for Steve Carell to come on the show, he must have brought in his people as well, which is fine. Listen, The Office is a fantastic show and is significant in its own right. But
her assistant in the show is a very good actor too. The guy that plays the assistant.
Yep.
Mark Duplass.
Yeah. Very good actor.
Yeah. So, this is my overall take on the show. First off, I am very entertained. I think that's a funny word, not entertained, but I would say I am finding this show worthwhile to watch. I'm thinking about the show when I'm not watching the show. And to me, that's a good sign. So,
well, season 2 will end that.
Well, thank you for that. I haven't gotten there yet. So hold on. Well, let me just finish though. But I do agree with the critics. I think it is a bit overstretched. I think it's trying for too much. I do agree with that. I wish it would focus on a single issue and kind of go into more character development than stretching this thing out to cover as many things as they're trying to cover right now. So, but other than that, I'm glad I'm watching it. We're almost done with season 1. I'm excited to get started in season 2 and be disappointed. So we'll see how that goes.
Okay, so
for now, I recommend it.
I want to just say that with season 3 starting, and I think I've seen maybe 3 or 4 episodes, I just put the theme song onto a playlist of mine, and I've been listening to it daily. I'm done skipping the intro. I listen to the song. I'm into the song Nemesis.
Well, that's really funny that
I bet you're skipping it. Are you skipping it?
I am. I didn't skip it today. We watched an episode today, but it's funny that you mentioned that, because I have now twice stopped the show, gone to my Spotify, and added a song that was on the show that I hadn't heard before.
Oh, but not the opening song.
Not the opening. Yesterday I added the song "I Feel Like I'm Drowning." Do you know this show? Or know the song by 2 Feet? Anyway, my daughter heard me downloading it. She's like, "Oh, that's a great song." All the kids are listening to that song right now, so clearly it must be a thing. So,
way to go, Dad!
She heard you downloading.
She heard me listening to it while I was.
Were you using your modem?
I was gonna say, how are you downloading?
You're not downloading. I'm adding it to my playlist.
We all agree that the opening song is horrible and way too long.
Did you just say that?
Yeah, it's horrible.
Marcy just said she listens to it daily.
And it's even longer. The full version. I've gotten into it season 3. I love it.
This is like life in general. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to tell the truth. He's a horrible. It's too long. It's too long. It's too bouncy. I'm following this bouncy, wavy thing. Skip it. Get to the show. Sorry, Marcy.
So here's the thing. If you think season 1 stretched, but it was still enjoyable, think about season 2, 2021, taking on a hyper-realistic set in Italy, full-on COVID.
Yeah. I hate it.
Sounds really enjoyable. I doubt my medical worker wife is going to be all that excited to.
Time might be kinder to it because distance, because it's now multiple years away from it actually being, the heart of 2020.
Season 3 is pretty enjoyable.
Well,
Well,
that's what happens a lot of times, though. A season 3 can bounce right back. But
Yeah. I mean, we could probably name a bunch of shows that season 2 is a downer compared to the.
I don't even think I finished season 2.
Yeah.
Hey, Ron,
Oh,
is it hard? Is it difficult to watch a show with a doctor? Is there comments and stuff?
Well, it's not difficult, but I will tell you, Fred, in the spirit of full transparency, it does annoy me when she will say in the middle of a script or middle of a point that someone's making, my wife will say, "Yeah, that's not true," or that's not right. That medicine that they just talked about, that's not correct. She'll say stuff like that. I'll be like,
darn smart people.
I get it. You're smart.
I think it's like anything. Like if you've experienced something in life and then you see it on TV, it's always just a version. It's never really.
Yeah, because life is not that interesting. It really isn't. You have to glamorize these things. You have to go over the top. And the morning show does it. It's a soap opera.
It is a soap opera.
Men watch it. That lets us watch.
Regardless of what you took away from everything we just said, watching season 1 of the morning show, even if you never watch another season, is worth investing your time in.
I did enjoy season 1 very much.
3 has been okay. Season 3 has been okay to date. It's just I see them trying to be Succession, and they have to get back to the morning show. Success of Succession, and they're trying to be that.
It's interesting you bring up Succession, Freddie, because I actually said to my wife, I hope this isn't ending up like Succession, because I actually ended up giving up on Succession. I got tired of it.
It's too talky.
Yeah.
Shut up already.
I did have one question for you guys. You might know the answer. I'm glad you guys have all seen the show. What's his name? Yanko, the weather guy.
The one who always looks like he has eye makeup on.
That's my question, Jeff.
No, those are eyelashes. Those are eyelashes.
It's makeup, right?
No, it's eyelashes. It's his eyelashes. No, I'm being dead serious.
I'm so glad you mentioned that, because every time he's on the screen, I'm like, the dude's wearing. Listen, nothing.
No, it's his eyelashes. He just is naturally dark like that. I remember he used to be on like Suddenly Susan or something. He was on some sitcom or something I used to watch. It's always been.
He's like okay. In my opinion, he's probably the weakest character on the whole show, but he does fine too. He's just up against big, strong.
You got to have some weaker characters so that the other characters seem stronger.
Thank you. So anyway, I'm enjoying the show. Check it out if you guys haven't seen it.
All right, I can't wait to hear what you think of season.
Good review. Great review. You did a great job, Ron.
That was fantastic.
Thank you, Freddie. I burned half our time though. Sorry about that, guys.
No, it was a good conversation, and then we have plenty of time to stretch.
Good, because I got an opening.
We have Reptile now. We're gonna both Fred and Marcy are gonna give us their POV on Reptile, Benicio del Toro's latest movie on Netflix. Take it away.
Excellent. Can I start, Marcy?
Yeah, I would love that, Fred. Please.
Let me start because I gathered some facts for this. So tonight, her and I are going to discuss Reptile. It's a crime thrilling. It's amazingly shot film. It's on Netflix. So Benicio del Toro. He stars as a hardened detective uncovering the truth in a brutal murder. And the fact here is his real name is Benicio Monserrate Rafael del Toro Sanchez. That's his real name, which loosely translates in English as charismatic man whose father may or may not have been a baseball man. Okay, because he really has hardened look to him. But he's amazing in this. He's absolutely amazing in this. So then there's the pop star Justin Timberlake. We got Timberlake in this. So he plays, in my opinion, a doughy-eyed boyfriend suspect. And although does a decent job, much like his fame, he's much better solo than in the ensemble. I think he's better alone on the screen. So you would think dating Britney Spears would have brought something out of him, but we won't get into her because I think she's screaming for help at this point. So this gets us to the fact that I love the most. The actress who factually ate her own placenta. Nothing nourishes more than 9-month-old sack of goo. So she likes to garden in the nude. And who doesn't? Who doesn't? She loves to garden in the nude. So Alicia Silverstone, the controversial parenting guru who's batshit crazy and alleged styles includes open mouth kisses with her child and
Yep.
bird feeding him by pre-chewing his dinner should not be lost on her ability to act. Perhaps we missed her point when she starred in Aerosmith's Crazy video, but the girl can act.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think the rest is up to Marcy here to argue with me.
Wait, can I just hold on, Marcy, before you jump in? I just got to ask Freddie. Freddie, who's crazier, Alicia or Gwyneth?
I think Alicia, from a serious standpoint, whenever I hear Gwyneth, it feels like she's telling a joke. But she does have vagina-scented candles, and vagina-scented candles, I guess, sound great in theory, but
Right.
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
I guess.
Sorry, I just.
Did you actually see the movie
I
or
know,
just
like-
the poster? Because I don't feel like you mentioned anything about it.
Because I want to mention it with Marcy.
I mean, it's great. It was some great trivia on
Thank
me.
you for that introduction.
I
and
want to
our
mention it with Marcy to open the movie, and I know we
Okay.
need to fill in for
Okay.
Scott's time, so let's go.
okay,
What do you
Reptile. Yeah,
This
he
was,
just let
this
you
was
know who's
rapping.
in the movie.
He gave it rapping. Now Marcy's going to open the rapping.
Okay. This movie is so fucking boring. Okay? Don't see it. It took
Okay.
me 4 times to finish it.
Oh my gosh.
I literally Googled Reptile movie boring and an article came up. The one problem this movie has is that it is boring.
Mm.
All right. The actors are amazing. They do some great acting. The problem is the story. It's the script. Even the name Reptile, which I looked up. Why did they name it Reptile? And the writers, who I will get to, explain that the characters are introduced as one thing and revealed to be something else. And I got that. In fact, one scene I really, really liked, and I usually don't like ruining movies for you, but I'm going to ruin this one for you because I don't care. It's so bad. Towards the beginning, there's a scene where you're introduced to Benicio del Toro, and his character is Tom. He's a homicide detective, but when he is in a restaurant with his wife, played by Alicia Silverstone, and his friends, you think that they come across that this is a group of mafia men and their wives. And then you learn that they're not mafia, they're really police officers. And I was like, oh, that was kind of cool. I like that. But the name Reptile, it doesn't go with the movie. Justin Timberlake is amazing. I saw it because Justin Timberlake was in it. I think he's a fabulous actor. He's a triple threat, quadruple threat. He's so, so talented. His character, it's just a waste. They could have had anybody play this character.
It's empty.
So
empty.
this is a movie, and I was so excited for this movie. Now, it is on Netflix. They did try it in the theater, and they pulled it real quick, and I would have been pissed if I paid money to sit in a theater to see this movie. I never would have made it. I would have walked out. This is about a real estate agent who is murdered found dead in a house she's showing. Hey, we all know I'm a real estate agent. Like, this hits home. I think this is going to be like a movie that I'm going to be in love with. And she's found by her boyfriend, played by Justin Timberlake. And there's a few different suspects. And Benicio del Toro has to find out, who is the murderer. It's 2 hours long. 1.5 hours is super duper boring. You might get 30 minutes at the end when things start coming about. And you're like, oh, yay. Oh my God, everyone come back. Come back. We're actually going to be entertained for possibly 20 to 30 minutes. So Benicio del Toro is one of the writers. There's 3 writers. This was not a book. This was flat out just a screenplay. Grant Singer and Benjamin Brewer. These 3 guys wrote this boring piece of shit movie, and I hope that they see me say this one.
Can I say something, Marcy, real quick? The movie was actually written by Grant Singer. The other 2 are those are add-ons for their purpose of getting paid on back end. Grant Singer.
Maybe Grant Singer wrote the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, no. Grant Singer is excellent. First of all, this is his first movie ever produced. He's actually very famous for the guy we were just talking about that wrote the crappy song for the beginning of
The morning show.
The morning show.
Mm.
He's a video producer, but he did an excellent job of filming this. But it's so slow, like Marcy has said. It just dies on you. If you don't, I've watched it 3 times already. 3 times.
You've seen this movie 3 times, the entire movie 3 times?
Yeah, because I watched the first time for entertainment, the second time for lighting, and the third time for camera angle, and to see how he did it. If I like it, if I liked how it was filmed.
Oh, so you just turned the volume off and watched all that?
No, I mean, I sit through it. I'm doing other work. I'm doing other work while
He's
it's
doing
on.
laundry.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's background music.
Well, okay, so I thought Alicia Silverstone was, for me, I was very excited to see her. I didn't know she was going to be in it. I knew very little about the movie. And I did like her character. I thought she did a great job. However, it just wasn't enough. So I will say the only reason I finished the movie, because I have no problem turning it off and walking away, is 100% because I knew I'd be talking about it today. The only reason I finished it. So the very first night I started it, I fell asleep. The next morning, I turned it back on. Then I think I started screaming out loud a little bit, like, this is so boring. I turned it off. And then later I was like, Marcy, you better finish it because you're not going to have anything to talk about on Wednesday. So I forced myself to finish it. And
That's dedication, Jeff. Are you hearing this as the showrunner?
100% for crossing the stream.
Yeah.
And took one for the team.
PPS.
Do you admit, Marcy, that the ending is so confusing?
Mm-hmm.
The ending to this. Now, it makes a lot of sense once you understand it, but it's not cut and dry. It feels like the ending of Blair Witch. All of a sudden, I can see somebody standing there and it's over. I don't know what the hell happened. They don't explain it.
Yeah.
You just got to pay attention. But I'm going from a camera angle type thing. The guy did a fantastic job filming it. The story is there. I don't know where he lost the pace. The pace of the story is cut so slow, and it's such a dark movie to begin with, where it's very overcast and cloudy or dark out, and all his color grading was done in a dark area. But like she said, Justin Timberlake could have been played by anybody. He did his job. He did his job because the script told him he's a doughy-eyed piece of shit. And that's exactly what he played. Benicio is great in it, but Benicio could be great eating a peanut butter sandwich.
That's the thing. That's the thing is, yes, that's right. Exactly.
He's great in anything. Amazing. And Alicia Silverstone has been off so long. Listen, she's an actress. She knows how to act. She did fine, but the role had nothing. It just was a nothing role.
The movie had nothing. The movie really had nothing. It was just all over the board. And I was just like, we're not that dumb. I'm sorry. Do you know
it feels like
we want more.
He filmed all these great scenes. It's similar to, did you see Licorice Pizza?
No, I was told not to.
So it's similar to Licorice Pizza, where it looks like he just went out with his camera, filmed a bunch of stuff, and then cut it together and figured out a beginning, a middle, and an end, and sold it to Netflix because Benicio del Toro is in it. They're making money. And then you get a Justin Timberlake, you get Alicia Silverstone, you're fine to go because you don't got to pay the writer as much because it's his first movie ever. He's excited to do it. And I wish him all the luck in the world because not everybody could do this. Not everybody has a bad movie, but usually your first one counts a lot. You want it to be good. So, but would I watch it again? Yeah, for the cinematic effect of it.
You're going to watch it a 4th time?
I can't believe in this review you're considering watching this 4 times.
I'm confused by this.
This is what I do. I watch. Listen, you could learn a lot from reading a bad book. You could learn a lot as a filmmaker, as a writer. You could learn a lot from these things. But more importantly is I like people that put that effort in, like a Grant Singer, and gave it his best shot and stuff. So I'll support him the best I can. And if I got to watch it just to give him a second chance, I'll do it.
Okay.
So I'm looking, Reptile got a 42% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which doesn't matter anymore, though, anyway. Rotten Tomatoes is not a great measuring stick. I don't think it's a great measuring stick of because they don't give you reasons. The people that are reviewing it are just clicking yay, nay, yay, nay. I want to tell me why. Like Marcy just told us why she didn't like it. That's what I want to hear from a review is, okay, you can't just like it or not like it. There has to be a reason, you know, and you got to be fair. Like, and she was fair. She said the acting was good. The writing seemed good. The dialogue, all that. It's just the story goes nowhere. It does not matter.
All over the place. Just
The best actress in it was the dead girl. You know,
she was so lucky. I was like, she looked so comfortable with her eyes closed.
She died in the first 30 minutes. She got to go home 3 weeks before them. So
you know, Benicio is one of these guys that it's, at least from my seat, it's one of these begrudging admissions that he's a great actor. I don't like him as a person. I think he's a terrible person.
I don't know him as a person.
Oh, yeah, I could go into all kinds of things about why he's a terrible person, including about international politics, his strong beliefs about certain things. But that aside, I mean, it's like he's kind of got the David Gilmour, Shia LaBeouf kind of thing going on with him, and he's
all the talent, but he's an asshole.
He's the ultimate prima donna, but you cannot deny his talent, and that's right. So you got to kind of pick and choose the right roles for him, and obviously this was the right role, but the wrong script or the wrong
Listen,
story.
He got paid so much money for this film. To get the only reason this film even sold was because Grant Singer was able to get Benicio on board.
Yeah.
And then you add a Justin Timberlake, who's just bored at this point. I mean, he's singing pop songs again.
What is Justin Timberlake doing in a movie like this? Does he need this? Like what? Like I would think he would.
I think probably decided to do this just before the NSYNC reunion.
Right, NSYNC reunion, and then he's been married all these years now. He's bored out of his skull.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Do you remember when every other year was like a Justin Timberlake movie or a Justin Timberlake new album or something, and like every song was Justin Timberlake, and he ruled the world. It's been a long time since that.
But you only have to rule the world once now to make the money to keep it going.
He was never Taylor Swift.
He was nobody's Taylor Swift. I was assuming, at this point that Bruno Mars is like packed in ice, and that he's going to emerge out of the ice one of these days to restore humanity and take over the world again. Where he was 10 years ago.
His wife is sickening. She just drives me nuts. She drives me insane.
But when you have so much talent,
I didn't either. All right. Well, that's a lot on Reptile, and Fred's gonna drop off so he can watch it 2 or 3 more times. And then real quick, just before we go, Funny Girl, Broadway. We have class on this show too, you know.
I'm holding this. Look, I have my book.
I assume this is without Jonah Hill's sister.
Was Jonah Hill's sister in it?
Jonah Hill's sister was fired from Funny Girl on Broadway.
My daughter saw Leah Michele.
So I just watched Leah Michele do her final performance before we all gathered here, where she surprised the audience singing the one song that Barbra Streisand sings in Funny Girl, the movie, that is not in the Broadway show. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Good for your daughter. That's awesome. I saw it at the Fisher Theater in Detroit, and the woman who played Fanny Bryce, because this is a play about Fanny Bryce, a vaudeville star, and a very unattractive, funny woman who becomes very famous because she is extremely talented, but just, a face only a mother could love. But in any case, that's why Barbra Streisand played her in the movie. But I've always thought Barbra Streisand was a pretty woman. And that was the problem I had at the show last night. The woman who played Fanny Bryce last night, I thought she was beautiful. And she's supposed to be playing this unattractive woman. So it's, once again, it's a classic. First time I saw it on stage. It's famous for Don't Rain on My Parade. That's like probably the most famous song. People Who Need People. It's I felt Act 1 was a little slow, better than Reptile, but Act 2 was a lot better. and it's still here. If you want to go see it, I highly recommend it. They do a great job. I'm trying to get this. Katarina McCrimmon. She's traveling as Sandy Bryce right now with the tour, but most importantly, Melissa Manchester plays her mother. So you all know who Melissa Manchester is. She's a very famous singer. So, she comes out on stage and everyone, gives her the respect that she deserves. She's got Emmys and she's amazing in it, Melissa Manchester. So I was really glad to see her live. Was it Leah Michelle?
I think in response to your comment about an attractive actor playing an ugly role,
mm-hmm.
You got to remember Bradley Cooper played the Elephant Man. I mean, it's in Broadway. It's so different.
Yeah, he must have had makeup on though.
No, he did it without makeup, and that was what was genius about it.
Doesn't he wear like a potato sack?
No prosthetics or anything.
Really?
And it was pure an acting thing. You know how actors could be. So especially on Broadway and stuff, the dramatics of it and stuff. It's pretty interesting. I didn't see him personally. You couldn't touch a ticket because it was only like a 6-week run.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't even know he played that role.
They do that a lot. They try to. They're attractive people for the most part. Actors, tend to be.
Yeah, we like them pretty, don't we?
Yeah. Well, we do.
The real problem I have with what you just were talking about is Bradley Cooper. First, it's like first he take Leonard Bernstein. He's taking the Jewish roles and he's taking the elephant roles.
I mean, it's like something for the rest of us.
Yeah, come on, man.
You didn't have a problem with that, though, right? I know Leonard Bernstein's children had zero problem with him doing that.
I will say I have no problem with the concept in general, except for the fact that it seems to only not apply to Jewish people.
Mm. Yeah, you've actually talked about that before, Jeff.
Yeah.
That's the film set that I was kicked off of, the Leonard Bernstein one. That's the one that I put the fake camera guy stuff on, and I was able to get onto the set when they were filming, because they filmed it here in Connecticut, and they caught me. I even had my camera equipment. I brought my camera with me and stuff and just put a camera guy orange vest on. Film crew.
Yeah.
I got pretty close. I was within 20 feet of them, outside a window.
How'd they catch you?
I guess you got to actually be filming or doing a job, because I'm just sitting there looking at the actor, so.
Did they actually do they, like in the movies, did they push you on the sidewalk when they dragged you out?
It wasn't dramatic.
Okay.
I don't know if somebody recognized me, because I'm so famous in Connecticut, they probably just wanted my autograph or something. I don't know. They knew about the podcast.
Were they impressed with your effort?
No, they weren't impressed at all. It's actually, in hindsight, quite dangerous. Because I could have been a lunatic.
We got a Barry Bremen in our midst.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a little dangerous. I just wanted to see something being made, and I stepped over the line.
Right, and now you're back home watching Reptile for the 8th time.
Yeah. Exactly.
All right, well, thanks for the Broadway review and classing up the place.
Yeah.
Well, that's
my pleasure.
That was it. That's it. That's the show, folks. Wow. Fred, thanks for hanging out with us again.
Thank you.
Great
Always
to
a
meet
pleasure,
you, Fred.
You're legit.
You gotta have me on your show.
I will. I'll reach out to you as soon as we're done here.
All right. Say goodnight, Fred.
Good night, Fred. Good night. Good night.
Say goodnight, Marcy.
Good night, Marcy.
Say goodnight, Ron.
Good night, Ronnie boy.
And I am Jeff Dwoskin saying goodnight. What's up? I do want to say I interviewed Allison Arngrim, who is Nellie on Little House on the Prairie, and I posted it in a Little House on the Prairie Facebook page.
Oh.
It blew up. It's over 2,000 likes.
Oh my gosh.
Who knew? It's awesome.
Who knew? I mean,
She's the best.
She was
She was
great.
the best one. She was my favorite.
She was actually really, really hilarious.
Hey, Jeff, we got a few minutes. Was she factual in the true story? Was Nellie really a real person, since Little House is based off the books?
Nellie is based on like 3 people in Laura Ingalls' real life, I think.
Okay.
So they did dramatize it and just create.
Well, I don't think they made anything up per se. I think that they just kind of combined a few jerks and then into one thing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting though. From something that's true-ish, I guess, based on a true story.
Right.
Who can
Cool.
prove it?
All right.
All
See
right,
you guys later.
And
Awesome.
that has been another episode of Crossing the Streams. Join us every Wednesday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live on Facebook and YouTube. Follow The Jeff DeWaskin Show on YouTube to be alerted every time we go live with your hosts, Jeff DeWaskin, Ron Lippett, Howard Rosner, Bob Phillips, Sal D'Amelio. We're all in the socials. Follow us, listen to our podcasts, Classic Conversations, and The Sal and Bob Show. Check them all out, and we'll see you next week and every week when we cross more streams right here. See you then.